Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So kind of an interesting video today. Wanted to take apart this electronic caddy that I found on garbage day. I don't find them often, but I did pick it up. It doesn't work, and I do want to kind of entitle this series Crazy Things I Find, just to show you that you can find anything and everything on garbage day, and anything and everything can have scrap value. This right here, just looking at it and using a magnet, this case is non-magnetic, as well as this pole here. So that's either going to be good non-magnetic stainless steel or aluminum. There's going to be a couple copper motors inside that drive the wheels and some circuit boards, as well as some wire. So going to take it apart today out of curiosity, as mentioned. Don't see these often. Show you how to identify the material, separate it properly, and divert as much of this away from the landfill. So here we go. Again, I also like this because like a lot of people, I share a passion with golf. So interesting find here. I missed the golf course right now because of the winter, but it will be back soon. I have already gone ahead and removed the nut there on the side. There was a key lock, so it did have a washer here. This washer, nice piece of tin. I throw it all into a container, as well as my screws. There were a bunch of screws, and I want to make sure I highlight the fact that these screws, because they are pointy, I always hold them in a type of coffee can, a tin can, easy to transport to the scrapyard safely. I have seen some people have them going up to the scrapyard, screws and nails all bouncing out, and that's not good for anyone, potentially popping your own tire or someone else's. So make sure that you have them in a container. And I will also say that a lot of these screws can be classified as steel. I have had several people ask me the difference between tin or steel. And when I refer to tin, shred, or steel at a scrapyard, I'm referring to just the categories, not the makeup of the metal. So anything that is thinner than a quarter inch is going to be your tin or shred. So all of your outer panels for microwaves, appliances, that's all thin metal, so that's all tin shred. Anything that's thicker than a quarter inch is going to be steel. Currently right now, tin shred going for about 8 to 10 cents a pound in London, Ontario. Steel going for a little bit higher, about 10 to 12 cents a pound. So even though some of these screws I could throw into steel, I throw them all together because most of my load is going to be tin shred. Find way more of that. But if this pole, for example, was magnetic, this would classify as steel. A lot of your structural beams are steel. But again, because this is non-magnetic, this is going to be either aluminum or stainless steel. As well as when I take this wheel off, there is a protective plate. Okay, so pulling this wheel off, right here, this plate here that was attached, I did take the screws off. You can see I put a magnet to it. It is non-magnetic. There are a couple pins right at the top that I have to make sure the screws that were attached to that and any washers, but the rest of this is non-magnetic. And what I'm going to do to this to see if it is aluminum or stainless steel is I'm going to use a grinder and do what I classify as the spark test. If the item is non-magnetic, I hit it with the grinder and it sparks, it's going to be stainless steel. If it is non-magnetic, I hit it with a grinder and it doesn't spark, it's going to be aluminum. So I'm going to hit all three of these items to see what they are. I do have my grinder set up here. I'm going to put on a pair of safety glasses, but here we go. So notice all three of these do not spark. So a beautiful aluminum shell, really nice thicker aluminum pole, as well as a nice piece of aluminum plate here. So this is all going to be classified as sheet aluminum or clean aluminum, currently giving me 45 to 50 cents a pound in London, Ontario. So a great price for sure. And this does have a little bit of weight to it. Most of aluminum is light, but because this is a thicker plate, there is a little bit of weight. And at the end of this video, I will put full breakdown weights of my material. I do also want to mention these wheels. These are in excellent condition. There is no scrap value to these because they are plastic rimmed, but I can reuse these, put them on a type of trolley, if I will, or makeshift wagon or cart, so I can reuse these. I have also seen some people resell tires and wheels and items like that. or use them for hobbies like go-karts and stuff. So again, not going to throw these out. Some good wheels on both sides. The back here, there is a little bit of magnetic attraction, as well as a really nice thick wheel. I could probably use this on, or resell it. A lot of people looking for nice wheels like this. Lawnmowers, those 360 lawnmowers, for example. But the shell of this, non-magnetic, there are some springs that are, so anything that is magnetic, I do have to remove here, because if I don't, I'm going to get upgraded, or downgraded, sorry, and get dirty aluminum price. So a lot of nice aluminum here for sure. Inside, once I've removed the wheel, here is the motor. As well, there is inside a little bit of wire, so I'm going to cut that wire because there is a circuit board that is attached. Get that last bolt there just a second. There we go. So, this circuit board here is pretty interesting. There's a lot of what we classify here. This wire is all going to be 60% appliance wire. Only one coating of plastic on this. This one, however, is going to be this gray one. This would be your 40%. It does have a outer shell on it. So the 40% appliance wire right now going for $1.45 a pound. All of your higher grade, this is 60%, currently going for $2.50 a pound. So you do want to make sure you separate it. Some of your wires, you can go ahead and remove the outer shell to upgrade. As you can see, watch this, just as easy as that. Remove the shell. This is going to be garbage now. The rest of this is going to be upgraded, but I do have to make sure I remove the brass ends. If I was to leave this on because of the plastic, I will get downgraded back to 40%. And currently right now, I am doing an experiment with these brass heads. I can bring these in to London, Ontario, get 19 cents a pound for these. I am doing the experiment to see if it is worth breaking off the plastic, getting out the clean brass out of there. Currently, clean brass going for $3.15 a pound. And I do have a huge bag started, so various different prongs that you see. So stay tuned for that to see if it's worth it. But regardless, don't throw it away, because even 19 cents a pound is better than nothing. But you do want to upgrade your wire and get that higher value. So there you go. On the circuit board, going to look at some of these items. There is right there, if you're into micro scrapping, a crystal oscillator. These do contain some silver. There is right here a couple IC chips. These I do break off the board as well. I will put them into, there is a market for these, as well as a small one there. There are two really nice right here aluminum heat sinks. This too is going to give me clean aluminum price. On that aluminum, you can see right here these prongs. These prongs actually have copper. If I was to remove the screw and scratch the top of that right here where my finger is, that is going to reveal copper. So these are number 2 copper. They are attached to all different types of aluminum heat sinks. And sometimes you will find them just sticking up from the board as well. I have had one of my scrapper friends comment that they actually do also contain precious metals in there. So if you break that plastic open, you can get separate prices online or other places. I have had some of my scrapper friends actually say that they have actually been turned down at scrapyards for those little prongs there, because their scrapyards believe that there is not enough copper recovery in it. So you got to be careful. I would say to that person, I would find another scrapyard, because given the price just of copper alone, there are tons of buyers and there are going to be tons of scrapyards that are going to take those prongs. And I have a huge bucket of those prongs that I've been saving up. So I'm going to get that money for that. Sorry, there is a piece of hair that was coming off of there that was tickling my face, so I apologize for that. Going to look as well, there are also some other items that I'm looking at. Right here, these 2 boxes are relay boxes. There is small spools of silver in these, small spools of copper in these, as well as a small piece of silver. Just to show you, once I break it open, if I showed you the little dot there, that's what it's going to look like. The little smudge on that silver circle is silver. So I do break these off, put them into a container for silver recovery. Some of your prongs that they attach to, like this one, can be copper. Some of them are brass. So either way, opening them up. But again, a nice circuit board here that is going to be worth more taking these items apart. If I was to just bring this in as is, I'm going to get 5 cents a pound for e-waste, regardless of what's on here. So it is worth taking off, but make sure you get that wire and the aluminum, as well as I said, these IC chips do have precious metal recovery on them, and you can sell them just torn down like this on places online. People will buy them, okay? Last thing of interest here is my motor. So just gonna open this baby up here, see if I get a nice copper armature. Okay, and again, I'm only doing one side. There are two sides to this. Okay, so just for sake of time, they're gonna be the same. And again, I will post the final weight. Okay, the top of this cap here is gonna be zinc cast. Gonna pull this off, hopefully use a hammer just to loosen it because I did take the bolts off. Again, some really nice bolts here. Throw them into my container. Okay, gonna hit this cap off. Okay, there it is. So inside of this, all I'm gonna do is just pull it out. There is gonna be a cylinder in here. This has a nice magnetic attraction. So there is some ferrite in here. As well, you can see some cords. I do wanna pull those cords out, get them. I don't pull out that ferrite. There is a market for ferrite. I just throw this whole cylinder into my tin pile. And that's another reason I love always talking about microwaves. I always use the inside of those microwaves, throw all this stuff in there, maximize my weight. But again, as you can see, that is thicker than 1/4 inch. So that could be steel. But again, most of my truckload is going into tin, so I'm not gonna worry about it. The cap on this, as I said, zinc cast, going for 45 cents a pound. On the other side, you can see those connectors. That black right there, these connectors are ferrite as well. There is usually a small copper coil that goes from that to the motor. As well, the edge where my finger is, you can see that yellow brass. So yellow brass on both sides, again, get that brass off there. The rest of this, zinc cast, getting my 45 cents a pound for this. This armature here, I love armatures regardless of the style of motor. Some of your motors are being replaced from copper windings to aluminum windings, and that is one reason why a lot of my scrapper friends even now refuse to pick up vacuum cleaners and other items because they believe that all those motors aren't worth it. Regardless of the motor style, the great thing about armatures is that they are always copper. So if I scratch this, show you, you can see right there, that is copper. So this is all gonna be number 2 copper once I remove that. And it's gonna give me $4.30 a pound. As well, this crown is also copper. There is a thick rubber coating on the other side of it, but easily you can break that off, get that number 2 copper. And I do have a full breakdown on armatures, which ones are worth opening or which ones are worth just leaving as is and getting copper motor price. Copper motor price about 25 to 30 cents a pound. This one right here, I will take the time to open it, break it apart, because the windings or the spools in there are thick enough for me to get that copper out. But they are worth it if you can do it. And as I mentioned, I have a full breakdown video on difficult ones or which ones to do. So I will include the link to that video in my description. So if you're interested, go check that out. But armatures, excellent source of scrap copper. Okay, inside here, the other thing that I have, I've noticed, this antenna, you do want to check the antennas. Some antennas that you find, especially on your old stereos, your boom boxes, they are brass. I do have a couple here somewhere. Probably not going to be able to find it right now because I'm looking for it. But they are brass if you scratch them. So this one I do want to check. Just going to pull it off, see if it is. Again, this one is a plastic coated. This one is not going to be brass because it is magnetic. But regardless, this is going to go into my tin. I don't have to remove the plastic covering off there. There you can see right there, there is a large spring that comes off. So that is metallic. So again, I'm going to throw this right into my tin pile. But you do want to check those. On the top here, I can actually see some brass. Just going to unscrew this if I can. I might have to break it off. But you can see right here, there, muscle power. I'm going to scratch the top of this. Look at that. There is a piece of brass on that connector right there. So I am going to unscrew that off of there, get that yellow brass. The rest of this, again, want to make sure you scratch it to see. That too is brass, so even if it looks metallic, you want to scratch it. So there is going to be brass on your antenna. So again, $3.50 a pound. You don't have to separate your coated brass from uncoated. It's all the same pile, but you do have to remove the plastic on there that I'm going to do, as well as any other parts. So this inner coil here, I do have to remove, unscrew it, but it will come out. So a little bit of brass there. Again, both sides are going to be the same. Inside, look at that beautiful shell here. So gonna give you the full weight breakdown. And the last thing I didn't even show you yet was this case. So there is some steel. There is some screws on this. Gonna put a magnet to this. So this is gonna be a really nice heavy piece of zinc cast as well. I do have to remove the screws. There are screws in there, and remove this large chunk of steel. But again, some more zinc cast here at 45 cents a pound. Gonna be on both sides of it. Gonna have to take off those wheels, reuse those. But a great item for sure that I found here. Some great items with my copper or armature. Lots of aluminum. Some really nice wheels to be able to use again. Some brass from the antennas. Nice circuit board. Some 60% appliance wire. And another item diverted from the landfill. So again, something I don't find often, but wanted to put a video on it as interest to show other people as well that you can find anything and everywhere on garbage day or in dumpsters. So hope you enjoyed that. Please continue to comment, ask questions. I've had a lot of people ask for different ways to sort or questions about scrapping. So I will do my best to answer those. I appreciate the support that I'm getting and kind words, so thank you very much for that. Please watch again, comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.